Welcome to our social network live video stream subscribers. I'm Joseph Clark and this is Martial Arts World Radio. We're going to be kicking off our live radio broadcast in approximately 10 minutes time. Our guest tonight, UFC fighter ALEX RICCI, Bellator fighter King Mo, and US Olympic Judoka medalist MARTI Malloy. This week's inspirational quote is from Seneca and goes as follows: "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Seneca, Roman rhetorician and writer, 54 BC to 39 AD. Our interview this evening with Bellator fighter King Mo will be brought to you by BobWallWorldBlackBelt.com, the world's foremost online martial arts and MMA marketplace, and also by the books The Tao of MMA and 21st Century Perspectives on Martial Arts. Both books are available at Amazon by searching them by their titles, The Tao of MMA and 21st Century Perspectives on Martial Arts. Again, our guests this evening are Bellator fighter King Mo, UFC fighter ALEX RICCI, and Olympic medalist MARTI Malloy. Our interview with UFC fighter ALEX RICCI is brought to you by Kyani independent distributor Daniel Gerage. Kyani is a leading provider of all-natural health and wellness products that provide athletes with faster post-training recovery and energy. Endorsed by professional fighters and celebrity martial artists Josh Tyler, Manny Pacquiao, and Jackie Chan. Reach out to Daniel for more info at Kyani Health Australia at gmail.com or Skype Daniel from anywhere in the world at that exact same address on Skype, Kyani, K-Y-A-N-I, Kyani Health Australia at gmail.com. This is Martial Arts World Radio. We're going to be getting our live radio broadcast kicked off in 9 minutes time. Our guests this evening are Bellator fighter King Mo, UFC fighter ALEX RICCI, and Olympic medalist MARTI Malloy. Our interview this evening with Olympic Judo medalist MARTI Malloy is brought to you by ketone specialist Regan Bremersh. Keto OS is leading a modern health revolution through therapeutic ketone technology. Mix this great natural 100% bioidentical ketone powder into a 16-ounce bottle of cold water for a great tasting drink for peak performance. Within 15 to 30 minutes, you'll be in the optimal training and fight state of ketosis. He doesn't just say it can do it, he can prove it. For more information, contact Regan at 1204-522-0733. You can text or call him at 1204-522-0733 or visit www.provittoday.ca, and that's PRUVIT2day.ca. I'm Joseph Clark. This is Martial Arts World Radio. We're going to be getting our live radio broadcast kicked off in approximately 7 minutes time. After some news and weather, our guest this evening, UFC fighter ALEX RICCI, Olympic medalist MARTI Malloy, and Bellator fighter King Mo, Muhammad Lawal. Be sure to check us out at www.mawradio.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube by following Martial Arts World Radio. Our radio show is internationally syndicated. We do our first live broadcast Mondays at 7 p.m. and then it is distributed to 85 different stations, channels, and platforms around the world. It is also a podcast. Each episode we speak to the biggest names in martial arts and combat sports, from the UFC, Bellator, and the Olympics, as well as martial arts legends, pioneers, and cinema stars. We discuss best practices, perspectives, and philosophies using martial arts as a metaphor for life's goals and challenges. Over the next hour, I will be featuring my interviews with UFC fighter ALEX RICCI in person in our studio, discussing optimal mental preparation for an approaching fight. Bellator fighter King Mo advises amateurs on how to behave like a professional in and out of the cage. From our previous interview before Bellator 169, and Olympic Judo medalist MARTI Malloy shares her experience on pursuing personal excellence to become an elite Olympic judoka. Martial Arts World Radio connects with audiences through distinctive and compelling guests and content across radio, online, and mobile platforms. If you would like to add your station to our network, or if you would like to advertise on the show and sponsor our celebrity fighter interviews, reach out to me at producer@mawradio.com. Again, that's my email, producer@mawradio.com. Our interviews this evening are brought to you by BobWallWorldBlackBelt.com, the world's foremost online martial arts and MMA marketplace. Also check out Prospect Fighting Championships at ProspectFights.com, and the books The Tao of MMA and 21st Century Perspectives on Martial Arts. Both books are available at Amazon by searching The Tao of MMA and 21st Century Perspectives on Martial Arts. I'm Joseph Clark. This is Martial Arts World Radio. For those of you just joining us, our guest this evening, Olympic medalist Marti Malloy, UFC fighter Alex Ricci, and Bellator fighter King Mo. We're going to be getting our live radio broadcast kicked off in approximately 4 minutes' time after some news and weather. Martial Arts World Radio is brought to you by our web marketing affiliates, Everlast, Century Martial Arts, MMA Warehouse, and UFC Store. Check them out at our website at mawradio.com. Be sure to check out our website at mawradio.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube by following Martial Arts World Radio. We're going to get our live radio broadcast kicked off in approximately 3 minutes' time. Thank you for joining us. I'm Joseph Clark, and this is Martial Arts World Radio. We're going to kick off our live radio broadcast in approximately 2 minutes' time after some news and weather. Our guest this evening, UFC fighter Alex Ricci, Bellator fighter King Mo, and Olympic medalist Marti Malloy. We've got 3 great guests, a very condensed script this evening because our time is tight. We have 3 great interviews, and one of them is particularly long. So we're going to have some very condensed introductions between guests and get right to the meat of the matter. Martial Arts World Radio connects with audiences through distinctive and compelling guests and content across radio, online, and mobile platforms. If you would like to add your station to our network, or if you would like to advertise on the show and sponsor our celebrity fighter interviews, reach out to me by email at producer@mawradio.com. Or if you have any observations or suggestions about the show, or you just want to reach out and say hi, tell me what you think of the show, or have some words of advice, I'm always open to that. Feel free to email me at producer@mawradio.com. This evening's interview with UFC fighter Alex Ricci was recorded right here in our studio. We're really looking forward to bringing that one to you. And our interview with Muhammad Lawal, King Mo, was recorded just before Bellator 169, where he was victorious against Olympic medalist Satoshi Ishii. Our interview with UFC fighter Alex Ricci is brought to you by Kyani independent distributor Daniel Jarege. Kyani is a leading provider of all natural health and wellness products that provide athletes with faster post-training recovery and energy, endorsed by professional fighters Josh Tyler, Manny Pacquiao, and Jackie Chan. Reach out to Daniel for more info at kyanihealthaustralia@gmail.com, or Skype Daniel at that exact same address on Skype, kyanihealthaustralia@gmail.com. This is Martial Arts World Radio. We have 3 interviews this evening. UFC fighter Alex Ricci, Bellator fighter King Mo and Olympic martial arts medalist MARTI Malloy. And we're going to be kicking the show off in approximately 60 seconds time after some news and weather. Thank you so much for joining us.
Be refused entry if they don't have a solid reason to be in the U.S., like a job offer, family, or a study permit.
A former Ontario nurse who
Murdered 8 seniors in her care has been sentenced in Woodstock, Ontario to life in prison with no eligibility for parole for 25 years. Elizabeth Wettlaufer apologized to the victims' families that they were largely not impressed. The federal government is lending a hand to residents of Churchill, Manitoba, who have been cut off because of a washed-out rail line. Ottawa is extending its northern food subsidy program. This will be music to many people's ears. The Ontario government is taking aim at online ticket scalping. From the Canadian Press, I'm Martin Malloy.
Here are Don and Lisa from Leslie Motors in Harrison, Walkerton, and William.
Attention Ford F-150 owners.
If you're in the market for a brand new F-150, then June is the month.
In addition to 0% financing, big discounts, and a spring rebate, Ford is giving existing F-150 customers an additional $1,000 rebate.
And Leslie Motors will throw in a no-charge 2-year 40,000-kilometer maintenance package.
F-150 customers, June is the month to make a deal with Leslie Motors.
Come into Harrison, Walkerton, and Wingham and experience the Leslie advantage. Overnight, mainly cloudy with a 60% chance of showers and a risk of thunderstorm, low of 10. For Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud, a chance of showers in the morning with a risk of thunderstorm and a high of 18. Overnight, cloudy and low of 11 degrees. For Wednesday, sunshine and a high of 23. Overnight, cloudy with a chance of showers and a low of 15. Into Thursday, cloudy with a 60% chance of showers, a high of 22 degrees. Overnight cloud with a chance of showers and a low of 16. And looking forward to Friday, a mix of sun and cloud with a 40% chance of showers and a high of 25 degrees.
Cargill's having their 10th annual Picking by the Pond. This takes place on July the 7th to the 9th and starts on the Friday at 12 noon. Some of the entertainment will be acts like The Ballas, Grant Tingley, Wayne Bester, and Larry Brennan. Walk-ins on Friday and Saturday are only $30, $15 after 5 p.m. So come out and enjoy yourself.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and not necessarily those of Blue Water Radio.
Martial Arts World Radio is brought to you by Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton. Check out the full list of classes at brucecountycombat.com.
Hi, this is Michael Jai White. You're listening to Martial Arts World Radio with Joseph Clark.
Welcome to Martial Arts World Radio. I'm your host, Joseph Clark. Over the next hour, I will feature my interviews with UFC fighter ALEX RICCI, Bellator fighter King Mo, and Olympic Judo medalist MARTI Malloy. This week's inspirational quote is from Seneca and goes as follows: "Difficulty strengthened the mind, as labor does the body." Seneca, Roman rhetorician and writer, 54 BC to 39 AD. Our interview with Bellator fighter King Mo is brought to you by BobWallWorldBlackBelt.com, the world's foremost online martial arts and MMA marketplace, and the books The Tao of MMA and 21st Century Perspectives on Martial Arts. Both books are available at Amazon by searching The Tao of MMA and 21st Century Perspectives on Martial Arts. Mohamed King Mo Lawal is an American mixed martial artist with Bellator and Risen FF, and is a former Strikeforce light heavyweight champion and Risen heavyweight Grand Prix champion. He recently beat Rampage Quinton Jackson in a unanimous decision at Bellator 175. We caught up with King Mo prior to Bellator 169, where he would beat Olympic medalist Satoshi Ishii. Mohamed, thanks very much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Oh man, no problem, bro.
How much of your preparation for a fight is psychological versus physical?
I think it's like 50-50. It's actually, no way, it depends, because if you wake up feeling sore one day, it might be 70-30 psychological. If you wake up feeling, feeling like you're on top of the world, it might be 50-50, you know what I'm saying? Like, it depends on the situation, you know what I'm saying, and how tired you are, how fresh you feel.
And in terms of strategy, how far along in your preparation for a fight do you begin to strategize?
I don't know, because I'm gonna be real with you. Like I train all year round, pretty much. So I really don't do camps. I just say I do, but I really don't. I'm always in the gym. So sometimes it'll be 2 weeks. Sometimes it'll be 3 weeks. I just pick 3 weeks and just do like, all right, here's my game plan. Bam. My game plan is usually always the same. Keep the fight and my strengths and then their weaknesses. And I see what their weaknesses are. You know what I'm saying? What their strengths are. Because my thing is I don't want the fight to be their strength. And I want the fight to be my weaknesses. So I just got to figure out, you know, what is what.
Muhammad, what would you consider to be your foundation or base style?
Whatever works. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I have to wrestle somebody, I'll wrestle. If they want to box, I'll box. And if I have to grind, I'll grind. If I have to look at a big punch, I'll look at that big punch. Just whatever they give me. You know, I just try to take.
And you have multiple strengths, so are there certain areas that you prefer to capitalize on over others?
You know, because the part, to say the guys like 6'4", with the 84-inch reach, or 83-inch reach, is what? I can't get in the outside, so I gotta find a way to get in the inside and avoid the knees and keep the fight there tight. That'll be my strength. You know what I'm saying? So,
sure.
You know, say I got a big hit the guy. My goal is to get around with him, so I got to use my wrestling. I take that to keep the fight in my strengths with my feet.
So what I'm hearing is that adaptability is important. It's key.
Yeah, that's the fight IQ. You know what I'm saying? Because the guy's not that small fight IQ, and I can finesse him to be in any position I want to be in.
As you're going through your strategy and preparation, are there other members of your team who you depend on to help you with your strategy?
Yeah, man, I got a lot of people. Like I got my boy Rodney Virgin out there in Chicago. I got my boy Kes Squash in California. I got my boy Burke Tariq Tamad in Vegas. Jeff Mayweather in Vegas. My boy Nathan Vasquez in Vegas. Coach Anthony out there in Philly, Delaware, New Jersey. My boy Gary Clark here, Florida. All my coaches, you know, the coach of the American Thai team. I got Coach Conan, Kenny Rodini, Dean Thomas. You know, I even Coach Mahumba. I have reached out people that I run through game plan stuff with. I have an idea, so what I do is run it by them, and usually if there'll be a bubble and a lot of bubbles overlap, and I'll just pick the spots to overlap. Because a lot of those game plans overlap each other, and there'll be one common or 2 or 3 common things that I'm saying. Then I'll be like, okay, I saw this, check. Oh, I didn't see this. They're all saying this. Let me look into that, and then that's what I do.
Muhammad, that sounds like a very wise way to approach it, and it also sounds like you've got a strong team and you're extremely confident in them.
Yeah, very confident.
Muhammad, from where and who do you draw your inspiration?
My family and friends, man. You know, like, family and friends need to inspire yourself, too. You look within yourself to see if you're built for it. You know what I'm saying? And I got family and friends, I got self-belief. And, you know, show that I'm built for this.
Leading up to the fight, what is the most challenging part of the preparation for you psychologically? Is it nervousness? Is it anticipatory nausea? Is it going over the fight in your head? What is the most challenging part of that?
Try not to be too relaxed. Okay. You know, because I'm competing so much. I really prepare, so I'm just kind of like last day before. I got to like get up, like, okay, let's go. Because me, I'm not that person. I don't get loud, excited. Like I don't let my coach to yell at me. Like, just talk to me. In between corners, I don't need somebody to hype me up. Like, let's go, let's fucking go. No, I don't need that. Just talk to me, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'll get myself up. You know what I'm saying? That's the hardest thing. I can get up, but sometimes, like, you're still so relaxed. You feel so confident. You're kind of like, you know, so just getting up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can get up and stuff, but that's the hardest thing for me to do is get up, because I'm always motivated to train. But come fight time, I feel like I'm already won, just because I've trained so hard that I got to, like, kind of monitor, okay, the fight's going to happen, you know.
Muhammad, when you look back and you recollect your first professional fight, how have you changed since then?
My fighting IQ has gotten better. But as far as still the same, nothing's changed really, because I think I kept my wrestling background. I had great coaches with a high wrestling IQ, but I'm a big boxing fan. I have a high IQ for combat. So I just kind of I'm methodical in my approach, and I just kind of gotta stay calm and hit the switch when you're walking to the cage or the ring is when you hit your switch.
When you step into the cage on fight night, how conscious are you going to be of the crowd and the cameras, or are you just going to be focused on the opponent in front of you?
I'm very conscious. I'm almost too. That's what I'm too. I sometimes I'm fighting. I look at the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Oh, there's so and so. Oh, damn. In my first fight, I remember when I fight in Goku, I was like, oh, there's Josh Barnett. Oh, there's so and so. Oh, is that Akiyama? Oh, looks like him. There's the Yokozuna. Is the Yokozuna? No, there's two wrestlers though. I'm aware because when I was wrestling, every time when you're wrestling, you have to coach each other. You get the tunnel vision at the same time. You have to know when to erase the tunnel vision to hear the outside information that's being provided to you.
Muhammad, how does Bellator differ from other fight promotions in which you have competed?
No, they're all kind of the same. For Bellator, I feel like I feel free. I can do my stuff. I love Scott Coker. We'll work with him, with the staff. The fan base is different because I feel like it's more diverse in a sense. You know what I'm saying? You got people from all over, all different walks of life. Because if you look at normally, there's a normal MMA crowd. It's just a bunch of just college age kids just drinking beer, yelling at them up. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I feel like Bellator crowd is a lot different. I don't know, it seems different to me. I've been to a lot of MMA events. Japan is probably the most different because Japan, they're more knowledgeable as far as fight IQ and what's going on. But the Bellator just seems more I don't know, it just feels like a different vibe to it.
Muhammad, you mentioned that you're a very relaxed fighter in the cage. Are you, in general, a very relaxed person in everyday life?
Yeah, man, I'm a homebody. I watch TV, listen to music, I just train. I'm always training. I like get in the gym, so if I'm not, say I take a day off, I'll probably watch TV or I'll watch some fight films, some boxing, or I got a boxing channel on Facebook, Top Boxing. We share videos, share game plans, talk about upcoming fights. I love boxing. Text my boys, or I'll go to the gym and just watch people train. You know what I'm saying? Fighting is a lifestyle. So right now, because I'm a fighter, I live the fighter lifestyle. Now, once I'm done fighting, then things have to change. So I'll just find a way to take away to something else.
Muhammad, who's your favorite martial artist of all time?
Donnie Yen.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was big growing up. I was big on Kung Fu. Played Gordon Liu as well. Bro, I love Gordon Liu. I love Jack Chan. I love Jet Li, Sammo Hung, Michelle Yeoh. I was a big Kung Fu flip person. You know what I'm saying? So. That was my favorite, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, it's weird because, mixed martial arts, I respect them all. I like them all because they're wrong we're co-workers, but just martial arts, I like the Asian martial arts, and I like the fight choreography martial arts the best. Even though it's not real, I'm a big fan of this stuff because I know I can't do it, and it's mystical, and it's not real, but I wish it was real.
At what age did you begin taking instruction in martial arts or combat sports?
When I was 16, wrestling. Because wrestling martial arts. I started wrestling at 16.
And what was the motivation for you to get into competitive MMA?
Well, I was a fan of it for one, and two, I was broke after the Olympic trial. So I had no other option. I'm not going to switch wrestling because as a wrestling coach, I was a volunteer coach making $500 a month. I can't live off that. Maybe $1,000 tops. I'm like, what can I do with $1,000 a month? Nothing. So you know what? I'm gonna try. You know what? MMA is getting big. I heard what you guys are making. That's good money. Let me jump up in there and see what I can do.
So Muhammad, when you're stepping into the cage, what makes you distinctive and unique from other professional MMA fighters?
I really don't know. You know what I'm saying? I just think that I'm just the realness in me. I'm just a real dude, man. Cause I was fighting, we all fight. So when we're in all the cage, we're all kind of You fight differently. We're all there to fight and win. But I think it's how we are outside the cage. You know, as far as their personality, demeanor, and what you stand for. That's what makes you different.
Great answer. Mohammed, do you have advice that you will share with our listeners who are amateur mixed martial artists who someday hope to compete as professionals?
Here are a few things. Stop being a fan before you jump in the game. Come in the game as a person that's looking to be a winner, because a lot of people come in the game wanting to just be somewhere and be part of something, and they never make it. They're just fans. For instance, the guys that fight at shows, after they lose, they want to take pictures of everybody on the show. Don't be that guy. Number 2, get with a good team that will help build you and show you and point you in the right direction. Number 3, do not stop learning, because the moment you stop learning is when you start losing.
Mohammed, terrific interview, and here is our wrap-up question for this interview, and I thank you once again. Future goals. What do you envision as your future goals moving forward?
I don't know. I wouldn't mind doing type of civil rights stuff, or how I've done civil rights stuff after my career. Some type of civil rights stuff, or just working for the cause to help other people. Mentor them to something. When it's all said and done. That's what I like to do.
Mohammed, thanks very much for your candor and for answering our questions today, and we wish you all the very best on fight night.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You have been listening to my conversation with Bellator fighter Mohammed King Mo Lawal.
Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton offers recreational and competitive kickboxing and boxing classes for children and adults, as well as yoga classes. Your first class is always free to try. Bruce County Combat and Fitness offers single monthly memberships for as low as $45 and $67 for a family. Their drop-in fees are only $7 for most classes and just $5 for yoga and Little Warriors. Check out their full schedule at brucecountycombat.com. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They also sell a full range of fight gear and apparel.
Here are Don and Lisa from Leslie Motors in Harrison, Walkerton, and Wingham.
Attention Ford F-150 owners.
If you're in the market for a brand new F-150, then June is the month.
In addition to 0% financing, big discounts, and a spring rebate, Ford is giving existing F-150 customers an additional $1,000 rebate.
And Leslie Motors will throw in a no-charge 2-year 40,000-kilometer maintenance package.
F-150 customers, June is the month to make a deal with Leslie Motors.
Come into Harrison, Walkerton, and Wingham and experience the Leslie advantage.
Tired of hard water wreaking havoc around your home? Dry skin and lifeless hair? Dull and dingy laundry? Soap scum and spotted glasses too?
Hey, Culligan! A Culligan water softener turns hard water soft every time. Soft water is the answer. Not cleaning products or detergents. Culligan saves you up to 50% on soaps and detergents while turning your laundry, bathroom, and kitchen brilliant, like me.
This summer, we've got an experience for you. Enjoy live music, harness racing and theater, play the slots, or family recreational activities. Tour our vibrant downtown featuring great shopping and events. Taste our locally brewed, handcrafted beer and the many dining options. This is just a snapshot of what awaits you.
Hanover Sights and Sounds Festival, July 19th to the 23rd, featuring the street dance, the band tour, pub crawl, and Caesar Sunday. Visit sights-sounds.ca.
Discover more at hanover.ca.
Hi, I'm Leo Stocker from Fish TV. Help prevent the fire and carbon monoxide tragedy at your cottage. Never leave your cottage guests or family vulnerable. It's the law to install smoke alarms in every story, and CO alarms are now law in many areas. Have peace of mind for your peace of heaven.
Message brought to you by KIDA Smoke and CO Alarms, the Federation of Ontario Cottagers Associations, and the Fire Marshal's Public Fire and Safety Council.
Martial Arts World Radio is brought to you by Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton. Check out the full list of classes at brucecountycombat.com.
BWR 91.3, the place to be.
Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton offers recreational and competitive kickboxing and boxing classes for children and adults, as well as yoga classes. Your first class is always free to try. Bruce County Combat and Fitness offers single monthly memberships for as low as $45 and $67 for a family. Their drop-in fees are only $7 for most classes and just $5 for yoga and Little Warriors. Check out their full schedule at brucecountycombat.com. Find them on Facebook,
Instagram, and Twitter. They also sell a full range of fight gear and apparel.
Hi, my name is Kung Lee. You're listening to Martial Arts World Radio with Joseph Clark.
Our interview with UFC fighter ALEX RICCI is brought to you by Cayenne independent distributor Daniel Jarege. Cayenne is a leading provider of all-natural health and wellness products that provide athletes with faster post-training recovery and energy. Endorsed by professional fighters and celebrity martial artists Josh Tyler, Manny Pacquiao, and Jackie Chan. Reach out to Daniel for more info at Cayenne Health Australia at gmail.com or Skype Daniel from anywhere in the world at that exact same address on Skype, Cayenne, K-Y-A-N-I, Cayenne Health Australia at gmail.com. ALEX RICCI is a UFC fighter out of Woodbridge, Ontario, Canada, who fights in the lightweight division. He runs his own facility, M1 Thai Boxing, out of Woodbridge, where he not only trains for the Octagon, but also pursues his passion as an instructor and teacher. ALEX RICCI,
welcome to Martial Arts World Radio.
Thank you, Joseph, for having me here. It's a pleasure. It really is.
Training at Floyd Mayweather's camp in Vegas. Please tell us about that.
Well, it was a great experience being around some of the highest level athletes in the sport of boxing. It was just an overall great experience seeing how the Mayweather team trains and being around that energy. It's not quite my style, but everybody has their thing, right? It's very flashy, and but they're the best in the world because they got so much knowledge and they train very, very hard. That's what it comes down to. So they have so much experience. They train vigorously every single day. They're very competitive, and that's what it takes to be at that level.
So what are your opinions or thoughts on the upcoming fight with Mayweather fighting a world champion UFC fighter?
Well, McGregor is definitely stepping out of his comfort zone getting into the boxing ring because it's a totally different sport. You're literally comparing apples to oranges. But all the power to McGregor, everybody has a puncher's chance. Even though Mayweather definitely has the experience, he has the knowledge. There is so much knowledge in the sport of boxing that, you know, a lot of martial artists miss along the way if you're not into just boxing. So as a mixed martial artist, we're grappling, we're wrestling, we're doing boxing, we're doing a little bit of Muay Thai, we're mixing it all up, right? And it's a totally different sport. But when it comes down to pure boxing, I got to give the edge to Floyd. But at the same time, McGregor, I feel like he has that size advantage. He's a great athlete. He's a lot younger. So he is very dangerous still. And you can't count a fighter like that out. You know, I'm gonna put my money on Mayweather at the end of the day, just because of his knowledge and experience about the actual sport. And it's like on that level, on that stage, fighting at MGM Grand, like it's Mayweather Town, that place in Vegas. McGregor has a lot on his plate.
Putting yourself in his shoes, if you were going to fight a boxer in a boxing ring, how would you adapt or change your training and your preparation?
It would strictly convert to just boxing. I would seek out the best boxing coaches out there, try to catch up 30 years of work that Mayweather put into his own actual craft and sport in a short period of time.
And Mayweather is a counter puncher, so do you find when you're fighting in the octagon or when you've been fighting in the cage, are there a lot of MMA fighters that are counter punchers, or do they usually just go for the knockout and offensive up front?
Now I find the sport is evolving so quickly, and the positioning game is becoming more important than ever, because that's the most important element of the game, is the position. They say in jiu-jitsu, position before submission. Right? If you don't have the right position, you're not going to have the right entries to attack. You won't be successful with your attacks. And that's what it all comes down to. Who has the more skill, who has the more knowledge. It's a high-speed chess match when you're in there. And the person in the better position is going to have that advantage.
Changing subjects, this afternoon you were at Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton, Ontario, Canada. You were conducting a Muay Thai seminar. How do you like teaching and instructing?
teaching, sharing my experiences with my students, and I just love surrounding myself with martial artists that want to expand, want to learn, constantly want to improve themselves, not only as a fighter, but as a human being, because that's what the martial art truly is. It teaches you how to be a great person. It guided me in the right direction and guided thousands of people in the right direction. And that's what I love most about teaching is just being able to help other people share my journey.
Towards the tail end of the seminar today, you were talking about setting goals and pursuing your goals and pursuing personal excellence.
Yes.
And an example you used was that 7 years ago or further along, you were setting goals to fight in the UFC and you made that goal a reality. Can you comment further on your personal goal and what it meant to you when you got that call from the UFC?
Absolutely. Setting goals for me is very, very important because it gives me something to strive for, to reach for, and I'm constantly looking to push myself to that next level. You know, coming from a Muay Thai background, converting to mixed martial arts, I set my goals on the highest and best stage in the world, and which is the UFC. And through a lot of self-belief, through vigorous training, through visualization, from writing down all my goals, being diligent with all of these tools, working very hard every single day, it became a reality. And the universe doesn't lie. When you put in the right work, it pays off in the end.
Now, recently I interviewed a UFC fighter by the name of Max Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
Max, very accomplished, very qualified martial artist before he got into the UFC. And yet when he stepped into the octagon for his very first fight, he admittedly said it was like an out-of-body experience. He was in such shock and awe. He couldn't believe that Michael Buffer was saying his name, introducing him. He couldn't believe he was there. And he said he literally left his body and therefore he didn't fight his best fight. And he got beat. And 3 days after the defeat, he was sitting at home. He still didn't believe that he had really fought in the UFC, that he had his first fight in the octagon.
Yes.
Now, in Max's case, he had to seek out the help of a sports psychologist who helped him to meditate and focus on being in the moment.
Yes.
And it did pay off. He overcame that, and he's had multiple victories in the octagon.
Amazing.
Your first fight in the UFC, did you experience any of that? How did you overcome that whole shock and awe, or did you feel that?
Absolutely felt that surrealness to the whole experience, because for years just been visualizing and working towards this one goal, and all of a sudden in a flash of a moment it's there. Bruce Buffer is there announcing my name, looking at me in the eyes and announcing me getting ready for the belt. And it was such a surreal experience for me as well. And it's definitely something, they call it the UFC jitters, right? They're octagon jitters. When you first get into that octagon, it's definitely interesting. It's like you're in a whole new universe. It really is a whole new universe compared to any other leagues out there. Because I fought on a lot of big stages. I fought in Bellator, and then in Muay Thai, I fought in some big stages as well. And when you compete on the biggest, most reputable stage, just everything increases, everything heightens, and you really got to make sure that you're really present, you're focused, you don't have any distractions, you're really present in the moment.
By the way, I stand corrected. I said Michael Buffer. What I meant was Bruce
Buffer, yes.
So did you prepare yourself? Did you anticipate the surrealness of that first octagon fight? Were you prepared for that?
Absolutely.
Or did it take you by surprise?
No, we typically going in there, getting your contract. You're typically preparing for all that. You're gonna expect. You're entering a whole new league. It's a whole new world, and it comes with the territory. Some people do great under that pressure. Some people, they just crumble. You know what I mean? There's so many great martial artists, but can you be that great martial art in that one moment when everybody's watching? That's when it matters the most, right? And that's what it comes down. That's what it means to be a competitor. There's a lot of great martial artists, and there's different levels of martial arts. But to actually compete at the highest level, you got to be able to turn it on fight night. that's when it matters the most, because it doesn't matter if you lose or win in the gym. You know, like I've been through camps where, man, I would be getting beat up in my sparring sessions, and my training would be going, I'd be fighting through injuries, and things just seemed like they were going downhill, and then come out on top. And then other times where everything would be perfect, body's feeling perfect, mind's perfect, everything you think is in check, and then boom, it's just over and you're TKO'd on the ground, you know, and the fight's over. It's just how the game is. It's very unpredictable. And that's why I think as an athlete, as a fighter, you got to be able to handle everything. You got to handle the wins, you got to handle the losses, and all the other stuff that comes with it, because it's just, that's the journey of life. It's not, you know, you learn from your wins and you learn from your losses. It's about, you know, giving it your all. And we all have our pros and cons and strengths and weaknesses, and it's about balancing out those things and giving it your absolute best when you step into that octagon. And it's so challenging. There's so many pieces to the puzzle that need to be together, you know, and then everybody has their thing, right? And going back to that question, some people, they shine under that pressure. Other people crumble, right? So you need, and like going back to the sports psychologist and the meditation, the mental side of this sport is extremely important. That's what we need to toughen up as martial artists. Truly, it's easy to strengthen the body. You know, to teach somebody the technique, you give somebody the right coach, as long as they're receptive to learn and open to learn. It's easy to teach that opponent, but to get through to the mental side, that's where it really kind of makes it or breaks it for a lot of martial artists that are looking into competing.
Alex, when you're not in training camp, when you're not preparing for a fight date, how many days a week are you training, and for how long are you training in a session, or do you have multiple sessions? What does your training regimen look like when you're not in training camp for a fight?
I always am in training camp. I train consistently 5 to 6 days a week, covering all of my disciplines, my striking, my wrestling, my grappling. I'm putting anywhere between 1 to 2 sessions a day, depending on what we're doing. And for me, it's all about the quality of the session, not the quantity. So some of my sessions are anywhere from 1 hour to 2 hours, depending on what's happening. But I'm putting in, on average, even when I'm not fighting, 7 to 10 sessions a week I'm putting in. And at the same time, I don't want to burn out spiritually. Sometimes you get overworked, overtrained, and you got to be careful with that too. So when I start to feel myself being overtrained, my spirits start to dull, then I take a couple steps back. I focus on a little bit more rest. I focus on other activities, like I got other hobbies like mountain biking or trail walk, going up north, being in nature. I think these things are very important to like kind of disconnect, you know, to recharge your batteries, because a lot of athletes, they think you got to work hard. It's important. You got to work hard, but you got to work smart. And having the mindset of working smart and having that right guidance can give you that edge.
And how would your diet differ, again, when you're training in maintenance mode versus when you're training for a date and you've got training camp for a particular fight that you're aiming for?
I go through many scenarios when it comes to my nutrition. I'm always playing around with it, introducing I don't take many supplements, to be honest with you. Introduce new superfoods or take away other things, and or eat less meat, or eat more vegetables, fruits. I try to eat a lot of healthy organic fruits and vegetables, a little bit of meat. And the most important thing is listening to your body, listening to what you actually need. And your body will tell you, right? Just try to be in tune with it. I eat small portions frequently throughout the day, consistently. And I try to keep everything consistent, because I don't want to, like outside of camp, I don't want to just overindulge, which I have my moments where I overindulge. and I eat everything I want. But then if I have that lifestyle consistent, I get used to it. And then when a camp comes into play, then it's like I got to do that switch over where it's like extremely difficult to go from eating junk to eating clean. So I kind of, right now, 20%, I go by the 80-20 rule, where 80% of my diet is super clean, 20% is kind of like the junk food stuff. But during camps, when I have to really cut weight, I just fine tune with all the, like I cut out all the junk food, you know what I mean? And I just add a couple more things here and there to complement and to give me the proper fuel that I need to train, you know, because the fuel that we put into our bodies is extremely important. And without the right gas in your system, you're not going to be able to, not only mentally, you're going to have the right mindset, but also physically. You're going to be sluggish. You don't want to be sluggish when you're going in. You want to be sharp. When you're eating fresh, organic fruits, vegetables, stuff that has no preservatives, it gives you life force. It gives you energy, and that's what gives you, I find, that drive. You know, I was telling you before, I switched my water to natural spring water. I try to drink high-quality water, and I've been doing this for a month. It's noticed such a big improvement in everything, my skin, my hair, my eye, just my feel, even just my vibrations. Like, I feel that difference. So it's extremely important.
And Alex, our wrap-up question for our listeners tonight, whether it's an amateur fighter who's approaching their very first amateur fight or amateur fighter who's approaching their first professional fight, again, getting mentally prepared and psychologically and spiritually prepared for that first fight that they're anticipating. Any words of wisdom?
First, you know, there's so many elements, there's so many factors to this fight game, but for me, it's about surrounding yourself with the right coaches, the right team, the right people that are going to guide you along that way. And sometimes you need to seek for that, you know? Sometimes you got to seek for that help. And the most important thing, you know, your